Views aren't offers. There are many recruiting platforms and sites out there that provide student athletes with information that a certain school or a coach viewed their video or read their email. This actually leads to more stress and frustration in the recruiting process. And in this video, I'll explain why. Hi, I'm Janie Bolte, college volleyball recruiting coach that helps families make sense of the college volleyball recruiting process. And I put your child first. The recruiting process can be confusing for any sport, but the college volleyball recruiting process can be extra confusing. I have so many families that are currently working with me inside my academy that have older kids that were recruited to play different sports in college. Even though they're able to navigate that, they quickly learn that volleyball recruiting is a different beast in itself. There are so many differences between what volleyball coaches are looking for versus any other sport. There are multiple companies and people out there that try to take general recruiting information from other sports and apply it to volleyball. And honestly, it leaves so many holes in your recruiting process. No one should leave holes in your process. And beyond that, there are a multitude of recruiting platforms out there, and I've even seen more being built. Places that you can go and you put your information up and coaches will see that. Again, not built specifically for volleyball, so you have holes. And one thing that these platforms use and run on is the ability to show you when a college coach or school views your video or opens your email. This leads to more frustration and overwhelm in the recruiting process because you are only getting half of the story. So tell me if this sounds familiar. Tell me in the comments if you totally relate to this. You send out a message through a platform and a college coach opens that message, then clicks over to watch your film. You are practically watching it happen before your eyes. And you get butterflies and you're excited and you think, this is it. I'm finally getting seen by a college coach. This is the closest contact that you've had with the coach. Then a few minutes go by and nothing. There isn't a follow-up message. There isn't anything. So you're a little confused, but you don't give up hope yet. You send out another message to another coach and same thing. They open it, they watch your film and nothing again. You still have enough desire and optimism to not get frustrated yet. So you give them the honest benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're trying to decide how they want to respond. So you sign off for the day because you're busy and you have a lot of things to do. So one day goes by and nothing. No response from a coach. Another day goes by, nothing. 2 weeks go by, still nothing. So now you're really confused. Do you send another message? Do you say the same thing? What did they think of your film? Was it bad? Do you need to make a new highlight? You have so many questions, and now doubt is adding more and more holes to your process. So you start searching for more information on how to do the recruiting process. Time continues on, and you're getting into your junior year, and you still have nothing but views and messages you sent to coaches and messages from coaches at schools that you're not interested in. You're crushed and frustrated and so confused. Does that sound familiar? This is the exact same scenario that I have had people come to me with for years. They're literally beat down and tired and frustrated. The parents are exhausted and feel like the only time they have to talk with their kid, they're talking about recruiting. And they miss just being mom and dad. They miss just having a parent and kid relationship. They're also tired of feeling like they're constantly nagging their kid to do things. and at the same time feeling a little guilty because they themselves aren't actually sure that the things they're telling them to do are the right things. It's like this extra weight on your shoulders that you want to carry for your kids, but you're not sure how and in what direction to carry it. But what's the solution? Well, one of the first things that I tell my clients that begin working with me inside the academy is get off the platforms, even if it's just for a little bit. Can they be a quality tool? Possibly. But you have to revamp the way that you look at them and use them. So, how do you do the recruiting process if all of these profiles aren't the solution? Well, to understand this answer, you have to actually know what the recruiting process is. And like I mentioned earlier, the college volleyball recruiting process is different than any other process. Stats are not something college coaches hold in high esteem unless they're physical stats taken by a trusted source. And making quality highlights isn't as simple as capturing a point scoring play. There are 50 points scored in a set. If it's 3 out of 5, then there's a minimum of 150, or 2 out of 3, a minimum of 100. On top of that, most of volleyball is played while you are not touching the ball. Movement without the ball is the only way to find success in technique and form for volleyball. So not to mention, volleyball is also a team sport unlike any other team sport I know. I played many sports, and I can say that I do not know of any other team sport that truly cannot be played by just one individual. You might be able to make it work with 2 players, but those 2 players have to agree to work exclusively together. So college coaches are not only building a team of skilled individuals, they're building a team of people that have to trust and like each other. And if we're talking specifically about women's indoor volleyball, you can probably see why that adds an entirely different element to the recruiting process. The college coach is tasked with bringing together a group of young ladies that have the skill and will get along to a certain degree for about 4 years. Not easy. So, what is the college volleyball recruiting process? In simplest terms, it's the flow of situations that come together to allow a student athlete to become a college volleyball player. For most divisions, you will become a recruited athlete before you're even enrolled or accepted to the college itself. This means communicating with the college coach is pivotal to success in the recruiting process. The way that I teach the recruiting process is we have 6 baseline points that we're reverting to in every step of the process. They are foundations, introduction, digital communication, in-person visits, offers, and signing. Then there are these outlying and almost extra things that are not actually part of the recruiting process, but rather supplemental, like tasks and information. So some people will think getting a view on a profile makes them further along in the recruiting process. That's not even halfway through. Then others will think that getting invited to a camp is being deep in the process. It can, but only if you tie it back to the recruiting baseline and continue to move forward with that coach. Camps can make you either be between intro and communication, or they can make you be between communication and visits. It really depends on how you leverage the camp and where you are in that baseline with an individual school and coach. So, what does it actually mean to be deep in the recruiting process then? Where should you be? The expectation and way that I coach my clients is that you're not deep in the recruiting process until we have an offer on the table to a school that fits your child's wants and needs, an offer that they would actually accept. Is that shocking? I find that most people get so caught up in the to-dos and the tasks at the beginning of the process And that just leads to exhaustion and burnout. Then, when they get to the offer stage, rather than continuing to pursue and push, they get complacent. Sometimes, if the offer is only from a backup school, they actually get fearful and they're not sure how to leverage that to move other schools and themselves forward. So, if views are in such a shallow position of the recruiting process, why all the hype? Why do these platforms base their selling points on getting you views from hundreds of coaches? Because they know those platforms aren't giving coaches the full picture and all the information they need to be able to proceed in the recruiting process with you. They also know that sometimes a view is all you'll get. Some coaches don't respond on a recruiting platform because they know that you can see they watched your film and they're hoping you understand a no response means they're not interested. The problem is, though, that some coaches don't respond because they're not sure where you line up in their process, not because they're not interested. Maybe you would be their number one in that spot, but they already have an offer out. Maybe they've been talking to someone else and they need to let that person know that they're going in a different direction. Maybe the coach sat down and watched 20 videos and read 20 emails in that instance and just didn't get to your response. And then maybe they kind of forgot about you because they didn't receive anything else. You want to always be directing your recruiting process back to the main baseline so that you can move forward with schools. So then I hear the argument of, well, it's really up to the college coach. It's really based on their timelines. This could be true, but I've seen people implement my strategies with coaches and go from intros to offers in less than 2 weeks. Are there limiting aspects? Yes. The coach has to be ready to make the offer and decide that you are their number one pick. But when you establish the proper foundation and show the coaches that match your child's wants and needs, the volleyball value that your child can offer, it makes a college coach's job much easier. So, what's the point of all of this? What do I hope you take away from this video? Well, I hope you see that recruiting platforms are just a part of the recruiting whole. I even teach my clients how to do the entire process without having to fill out or pay for a platform. I can't stop you from indirectly paying for a recruiting platform by paying your club dues, but that's an entirely different topic that I speak about in this video. And I also hope that you can start to see behind the curtain a little bit, that you can see that people that promote these platforms as the end all may not know fully how to do the recruiting process, or they may be looking for an easy spot to place you and hope that you can make it work. I truly have a recruiting system that has been proven to be effective for years. I am not a recruiter. I will not be doing the work for you. I am a coach, someone that comes alongside you and empowers your family to get the job done in a way that fits your child's unique and individual goals. If you're curious how that works, I have another exclusive insider video that you need to watch. I've got the link below. Click and register, and you'll be one of the few with limited access. Until next time, guys.